to cover up our XXXY shirts at this game during overtime and told us we had to leave.
And this is for the girls.
Or cover our shirts.
And how much were your seats?
$1,000 each around.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm understanding Mom correctly. Uncle Casey tries not to make a habit of questioning the wisdom of mothers. Hell, I try not to question any of the women in my life. If you've ever been married, you know why. Once men reach a certain age, we realize that arguing with a woman is a lose-lose. There is absolutely no way for us to win. But against my better judgment, I am going to question one thing that this lovely mother said. And I want to make sure that I heard and I'm understanding her correctly. Did I just hear Mom say that she spent $2,000 on WNBA tickets? Did I just hear her say she paid $1,000 a ticket to watch a pretend basketball game? I'm not willing to pay $1 for WNBA tickets. And buying tickets to a make-believe basketball game, it would be a business expense for me. It would make my accountant happy if I paid $2,000 to watch Angel Reese build her Barbie dream house out of bricks. Yesterday afternoon, that lovely mother and daughter, they paid $2,000 to support Sophie Cunningham and the Indiana Clarks. Now, if you watched that game yesterday, you know they were not the only ones in Atlanta supporting the Indiana Clarks. It sounded like Angel Reese and the Atlanta Dreamers were playing that game on the road. Maybe that's why security in Atlanta was threatening to kick these two lovely ladies out of the arena. Maybe they were kicking fans of the Indiana Clarks out to create the illusion that people in Atlanta actually support Angel Reese. But as it turns out, the ladies were not threatened by security because they were fans of the Indiana Clarks. As the game was going into overtime, security threatened to remove these wanted criminals from the arena because of their choice of clothing attire. Excuse me, ma'am. May I call you ma'am? Do you prefer she, her pronouns? I regret to inform you that your clothing attire violates our policy on inclusion. We have deemed your clothing to be anti-trans, and we will not allow hate in our league. You're probably wondering the same thing that I was. Why did security wait until overtime to threaten to kick these ladies out of the arena? Supposedly, someone sitting nearby saw their t-shirt and was instantly offended. My guess is this dork likely spent 4 years of high school learning how to use a blow dryer. Blow dryers are one of the top selling items on dork.com. When you spend a lot of time with your head dunked in the toilet, a reliable blow dryer is pretty much mandatory. But all kidding aside, some dork sitting near these ladies, the dork saw their t-shirt and they decided to make themselves the ultimate victim. And they demanded that arena security approach these innocent ladies and tell them, your kind is not allowed here. This is our league. It doesn't belong to you. I keep telling you guys the WNBA is at war with its fan base, and this toxic turd of a league keeps proving me right. Last week, I received an email from someone who used to work security at the arena in Phoenix. According to him, during NBA season, everyone wanted to be on the schedule. They were essentially getting paid to watch NBA games. The fans were respectful. There were very few incidents throughout the NBA season that required security getting involved. But during pretend basketball season, when the Phoenix Masculines were playing in the same arena, they hated it. He told me the fans were often disrespectful. His exact words were, they were older, miserable rainbow warriors. Most of them look like SpongeBob. It is abundantly clear at this point the WNBA does not like Caitlin Clark, and they damn sure don't like her fan base. You don't have to take my word for it. Uncle KC always comes with the proof. Late last night, the WNBA put together an amateur-looking graphic to celebrate the best performers in the game yesterday between the Clarks and the Atlanta Dreamers. Believe it or not, Uncle KC actually watched the game. I watched all 4 quarters, and I even managed to stay awake through overtime, or as I prefer to call it, additional punishment. Since I watched the game, I know who the best players were, and I damn sure know who the best pretenders were. You see, there is a huge difference between a player and a pretender. A player actually knows how to play basketball. A pretender, which the WNBA is full of, on paper, it looks like they know how to play. On paper, it looks like they had a great game. But if you actually watch, you know it's all an illusion. According to the WNBA, these were the best players in that game yesterday between the Clarks and the Dreamers. I'm sure you immediately recognize that Caitlin Clark is excluded. The League of Inclusion refused to include the best player on the court. I wonder why. But the real problem is who was included in her place. I have no problem with Alicia Gray being included. I have no problem with the inclusion of Kel Mitchell. But Angel Reese? You mean to tell me Angel Reese, according to the WNBA, excelled in that game yesterday? Angel Reese. Were we watching the same game? Do I need to play the clip again? Do I need to show the highlights of Angel Reese in that game yesterday? Just in case you missed it this morning. This is who the WNBA claims excelled in that game yesterday. Watch it for yourself.
Reese leaking out, finds her, and Reese will fire a 3 and hit. Reese left alone. Reese gets out, watching her attempt it. Reese can't. Vegas at 9. For more on these games, please go to WNBA.com or visit the WNBA app. Looking to take it to her. Reese, the footwork, couldn't finish it. Okot keeps it alive. The game, the floor game overall. Howard launches, missed it badly. Reese the putback.
Look, there is no doubt that the WNBA is dumb. There is no doubt that this league is severely lacking intelligence. I mean, this is the same league that's advocating for their own destruction. WNBA players are actively pushing for men to take their jobs. But this constant exclusion of Caitlin Clark, this is not due to the WNBA's stupidity. This is intentional. I know I keep repeating myself, but this league does not want your business. The mother who spent $2,000 on tickets to see pretend basketball, the WNBA does not want your money. They don't want you there. Hell, it should be obvious since, you know, they tried to kick you out of the arena. To be honest with you, I don't know if WNBA games are really suitable for children, especially young children. Yesterday, it was reported that Sophie Cunningham was banned from the WNBA's page on Reddit. Not Sophie Cunningham personally. I highly doubt she uses Reddit. Sophie Cunningham isn't exactly the type of woman that is welcome on Reddit. Lonely men on that platform, they prefer their ladies with beards and wieners. If you mention Sophie Cunningham's name on Reddit, you are automatically banned. Why? According to the moderators, or as normal people prefer to call them, nerds, according to the moderators who live in this fantasy where they actually have power, that blasphemous name is not allowed in our nerdium. Through extensive research, we had discovered that the mere mention of Sophie Cunningham incites division. We stand in solidarity as we pledge allegiance to our rainbow flag, and we will not allow our nerds to be divided. Fans of the League of Inclusion are literally banning people for mentioning a WNBA player on a WNBA forum. Someone please make it make sense. The WNBA continues to claim that normal people are being divisive. Sophie Cunningham is divisive. Caitlin Clark and her fan base are divisive. But the reality is, this war is one-sided. The WNBA and their hardcore fan base, they are waging this war because they don't want their league to be infiltrated by normal people. They don't want their league to be mainstream because they know it could potentially represent change. You know, when I was in high school and college, T.I. was my favorite rapper. He released his first album back in 2001. Now, I thought the album was great, one of my favorites in his catalog, but commercially, it was a massive flop. His second and third albums, they were released in 2003 and 2004. Now, they were more successful than his debut album, but at the time, T.I. was still unable to penetrate the mainstream. He didn't really become a mainstream artist until he released his fourth album in 2006. And every album after that got significantly worse, more commercial. Once T.I. became a commercial artist, he lost a lot of his appeal to his hardcore fan base, which is often what happens when a music artist makes it into the mainstream. I think there is a similar fear right now with the hardcore fan base and the WNBA dump. And not just the fan base, I think WNBA players are worried about this as well. For decades, they have perceived the WNBA as being their league. Now, sure, they will say publicly, pretend basketball is for everyone. But the truth is, pretend basketball is not for everyone. It's for everyone who is willing to agree with their communist ideology. It's for everyone who is willing to support men being allowed to play in the WNBA. Normally, I do not support men and women's sports, but with the WNBA, Uncle KC is willing to make an exception. If WNBA players and coaches are willing to lose their jobs so men can fulfill their dreams of playing basketball in this dump of a league, I think we should acquiesce to those demands. Go ahead. Let Enes Kanter into the league. Let Royce White, who played a grand total of 9 minutes in his NBA career, let Royce White become the MVP of the WNBA. This, to me, is a win-win for everyone. Within 12 months, WNBA players will get exactly what they want, and people who hate this league will get what they want. Men will be allowed in the WNBA, and eventually, the league will cease to exist. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.